I got the chance to meet up with Central's head coach Brian Ross after their big win over Northside. From hugs to dog piles, lots of emotion out of him and his players on Saturday. So let's hear what he had to say about semis, state, and the whole season.
Dozens of teams across the state were vying for a trip to the 6A state championship this week. Not many would think that of all of them, Little Rock Central would punch their ticket to Hot Springs. But after a narrow win in overtime to Harbor and a statement win over Fort Smith Northside in the semis, they did exactly that. The 14th ranked team in Arkansas is headed for the state's biggest stage, knocking off a stacked Northside team highlighted by Razorbacks commit Jalen Williams. Coach says what made it possible.
The X factor is those kids believe. They believe they're as good as anyone. They believe they're going to win. When you play hard, you play unselfish. You don't think you're an underdog to anybody. It doesn't matter who they've got or where those guys are signed. My kids walk in the gym and they think that we're coming in there to win. So, you know, we're not going back down from anybody, and they just didn't give up. They kept coming back, and we're still standing.
Let's go! Let's go, Coach!
And to be one of only 2 6A teams still standing takes more than just talent. It's a product of the season's grind and development. It's character.
That's exactly right. That's a great word for them. Is they got great character. They just played their hearts out on the defensive end. They gave it everything they had. Obviously, Northside's a great team. Jalen Williams is a great player, but you know, we just came in. We're going to give it everything that we got, and they did. And they listened, and they were coachable. I mean, it was just enough to get the win today.
An up-and-down season had few thinking Central could pull off a trip to state. Nevertheless, downing Northside, formerly ranked number 2 in the state. But these Tigers defied the odds.
It's not about rankings. We were ranked where we were for a reason. Early in the year, we just had a lot of guys that weren't all that experienced. I knew we had the physical talent, and I knew we had kids that wanted it, and they just stuck together, and they kept getting better and better. And we learned from losses, we learned from wins. They brought great effort to practice every day, and you know, and then you need a few breaks in the tournament. And we won a big game in overtime the other night, and then we just executed really well all night tonight, I thought.
The team learned a lot through the season, growing to be a state championship caliber bunch. Over the few days of the state tournament, seeing his kids rally to the title game, their coach learned a whole lot about his team.
Hey, just that they believe in themselves as much as I do. Sometimes you, as a coach, you know what your team can do, but you're not sure if they're going to do it. And man, I knew when we were at practice this morning, when I walked in, even at breakfast, coaches looked over at the players eating, and we said, those guys think they're winning today. And when you know you got a team that believes that much, you got a chance.
The only thing this team could enjoy more than the win itself came once the clock hit zeros. The celebration and even the dog pile. It's a sight to see as a coach.
Oh, it's awesome. It's fun. Because in the end, it's just got to be fun. And win or lose, we're playing basketball and we're having a blast. But man, just to see, because you work so hard and so many hours for a whole year, and to see them experience that joy at the end, man, that just makes me sit there and smile.
The win and the title game trip means more than just a team. It's a school, a student body, a tradition, a brand the players rep on their chests, and coach on his shirt.
Oh, you know, it's just an honor to represent a school like Little Rock Central with all the history and all the great teams and championships that have come through this place. It's unbelievable, and you know, we'll probably talk about that this week with our team. We're just a real small part of the tradition and history of Little Rock Central, and we're blessed to be here. And but there's some pride that goes along with that, with being the school that's won more state titles than any other school in the state. And those guys have represented that jersey proudly this year.
Little Rock Central, Conway, in Hot Springs this coming Saturday night, with a 6A state title up for grabs. Coach tells us the mindset of the team going into the biggest game of the year.
It's going to take another great effort. It'll take an even better effort than it did tonight because it's the state finals. And no matter which team we're playing, we're going to have to bring our A game. We're going to have to lock in and have a great week of practice, but I know we're capable of it.